Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you had an amazing week and you are having a great weekend. It is incredibly hot and humid here at the house. I'm filming this on Tuesday. We've got a press car this week, so I'm filming the Sunday Musing almost a week ahead of schedule, which we do from time to time. But the topic for today's video is one involving politics, and I have made a video this week about politics on the channel. We have done several political videos of late on the channel, and obviously it's been the RNC, the Republican National Convention here in the US this week. Last week, of course, we had the shocking and abhorrent assassination attempt for candidate Trump, and while I do not agree with his policies or his platform, I think we can all agree that political assassination attempts are bad and they shouldn't happen. And also, I hope that we don't have to deal with that again in the future. Anyway, that's not what I want directly to talk to you about today. I do want to talk to you about the feeling that I have that EVs are again becoming a political target for people. And so I want to ask you if you feel that you are more of a target if you drive and own an EV than perhaps you might if you own an internal combustion engine vehicle. I know that there's lots of political rhetoric flying around right now. I know there's been a lot to discredit EVs. I know that candidate Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, is very much against EVs and has tried to push a bill through that would basically get rid of EV tax credits and instead kind of introduce tax credits for internal combustion engine vehicles. So instead of getting up to $7,500 for buying an EV, you would get up to $7,500 for buying a petrol or gasoline or a diesel vehicle, which just feels weird. And I have spoken to EV owners who are not online a lot, and if they live in rural areas and they don't interact with other people, the general consensus is, yeah, people just leave us alone. But I've also talked to people who say, you know, I sometimes have to travel across states where people circle the charging stations with their trucks that may or may not have certain political messages on them, and that is something that a lot of people feel threatened by, and they're like, does this mean that I am no longer safe driving an EV? Do I want to drive cross-country in an EV? I know someone who is planning a cross-country trip right now. They would ordinarily look to drive. They don't really want to fly, but they don't want to take their EV because they fear that the places they are going with that car would simultaneously mean that they would be more likely of having politically motivated attacks on their vehicle because their vehicle is a small EV and because it's quite obviously an EV. It's not like the truck that I have, which you have to know what the F-150 Lightning is to know it's electric. You know, it looks pretty much like any other vehicle. I've also noticed they probably have a cool lighting effect across my face. The sun is coming through the trees, so I do apologize if it looks a bit weird. It's not a ray of light, it's not a ray of inspiration from the heavens. It's just patterns of light coming through the trees. Anyway, I'm not the chosen one. Nor is any political candidate, by the way. But I am curious if, you know, the ramping up of political rhetoric has made you think twice about taking your EV somewhere. Are you worried about vandalism at charging stations? Have you witnessed a rise in vandalism at charging stations? Or do you think this is just all going to blow over and people will ultimately end up driving EVs because they make sense more than just environmentally? They make sense for a whole bunch of other reasons that is bipartisan, and it doesn't really matter how you feel politically. Driving an EV is good for your pocketbook in most states. I think this week there was a study that came out that said maybe 1 or 2 states it's still more expensive to drive an EV than it is to drive a gas car, but everywhere else it's cheaper. In some places by a lot. So tell me, in the comments below, have you experienced politically motivated stuff because you drive an EV? Do you feel a target because you drive an EV? And what steps are you going through to change your habits or maybe to mitigate the risks when driving an EV in places that may not be politically necessarily welcoming of EVs? And of course, it's not just Republican and Democrat, conservative, liberal. In parts of the world, in Germany, for example, there was an attack this week on Tesla Cybertrucks that were on display somewhere. Climate activists poured paint over Tesla Cybertrucks. So it might be that you live somewhere where environmental activism is really popular, and environmental activists may not like the fact that you drive an EV because they would much rather you cycle or walk or anything like that. So let me know your thoughts and your experiences in the comments below. I will be back next week on this channel for another Sunday Musing. Until then, I hope your weekend is a good one.
Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of the more than 1,500 people who help fund this channel through Patreon and YouTube. They help cover our bills, pay our team, and they make sure that we can remain 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for, from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just over $10 a year. A massive welcome to our newest supporters: Carol Bulawa, Rolfondo, Michael Owen, Winter, and Wilton Live. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. And of course, if you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations. We even have a good old-fashioned PO box that you can reach us at. Address you'll find linked below. And of course, if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store in the down below as well. This month, we are celebrating Pride with an amazing new t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator Erin. You can get yours today by heading to our Redbubble store. We've also got some fantastic content coming up, so make sure that you've hit the subscribe button on either PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we think this one is also well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving.